Would you fight a lesbian for an undisclosed amount of money?
Yeah.
Really? I don't even have to hear the number?
Well, what does undisclosed mean?
If I don't know where I'm at sexually, I could probably use a drink. You know?
Or could we go to
I
eat?
think we should go to a fancy restaurant.
A little bit of champagne?
The champagne,
Yeah.
the scotch.
Yeah, a little scotch. Damn, okay. If I have too much scotch,
So
I'll have Down syndrome, bro. You look like a deaf guy that goes to the gym.
Beginning his journey at the absolute bottom in Louisiana and climbing his way up through Hollywood to crowning himself as the Rat King. Born to a father who was 69 years old, Theo's early life was marked by unique challenges and experiences. He navigated 6 different colleges, launched 4 distinct podcasts, and even made it into a movie with Chris Pratt. Today, we will show you why there will never be another Theo Von, uncovering who Theo Von truly is, how he rose to the top of the comedy world, and at the end, we will show you how Theo Von changed the podcast industry forever. Theodore Capitani von Karnowski III was born into the heart of Covington, Louisiana, a small town in the south that had 13% of its population living in extreme poverty. Theo's father, Roland Theodore Achilles von Karnowski, was born in 1911 and first immigrated to the U.S. in 1922 from Nicaragua. Fortunately for him, he didn't fight in World War II. However, he had Theo at 69 years old whilst he was retired. Theo's mother, Gina Capitani, was of Polish descent and only 32 years old when Theo was born.
They used to call me the N-word all the time in Louisiana.
Which word is that?
I mean, you can pick one, but it's,
On top of this, Theo found himself growing up quite poor, and being a smaller than average child meant he found himself vulnerable to violence. Theo also had an older brother, Roland Karnowski Jr., who was born in 1951, making him 29 years old when Theo was born. So Theo couldn't have the usual fights with his siblings growing up.
one of us hit the other one with a chair once when we were young.
Oh, really? What was that over?
I don't know, one of us was wearing a disguise, so I don't remember who was who. But it was violent. It was like one of the most violent things that ever happened to me.
What, is it
and
the
it was
kid-
a nice chair. It was an antique.
How old were you?
I was probably 11.
If Theo was 11 years old, this means his brother was 40, which is insane. And it wasn't only people that attacked Theo.
A couple of them were getting me, and looking back and seeing one come from something in the air. And they had tons of stray animals where I was from. You had to infuse that in everything you did, wherever you went, or if you were going to bike or play ball. Cats.
However, Theo's childhood wasn't all bad. He managed to frequently win and compete in national yo-yo tournaments. This gave Theo an early insight into what it takes to become the best at one thing and consistently beat others. This allowed him to develop a great work ethic much earlier than most. Another unusual childhood experience would then follow for Theo.
I think at the age of 14, my mother emancipated me, like legally emancipated me, like signing the contract and everything that just says that I'm responsible for my own actions and whatnot. I mean, I think I was kind of a special kid growing up, and I really, like, I could use like a lot of affection. I needed a lot of attention. She couldn't do it. I mean, it's going to be hard on me in the future, I think, because I don't really know how to care about somebody.
And sadly, only 2 short years after being emancipated, Theo's father passed away at age 86 due to cancer. This forced Theo to grow up fast and face the impoverished streets of Louisiana alone. Theo was quickly forced to develop a comedic personality early on to ensure he would have a skill to escape his hometown.
I stayed in comedy. I was thinking about this the other day because honestly, the truth is, it provided me an escape. I just didn't want to settle down. I couldn't just be somewhere.
Theo has recalled some of the sights he saw growing up on many podcasts he's been invited on.
I remember I got on a school bus one day, and the man didn't even take us to school. He just drove us around, and
Fuck off.
swear to God, and then just drove us back home eventually.
What's wrong with it?
He didn't say anything either.
Probably drunk.
And when at a certain point,
He
you
likes
don't
to
ask. The whole family was fucking
You choked you out.
psychos, bro. Brother had sharpened half of his teeth on one side of his mouth, dude. These people would fuck you up. One of the kids was in a wheelchair, they never taught him to walk, I think. I don't even think he was crippled. They just never taught him to walk. When I was young, they had a kid in my neighborhood who used to make me bury his duty in his yard for him. Or I couldn't play with him. And he was a tough kid.
Like beat the crap out of you?
No, he would shit in his yard and I had to bury it. And I did it, man. I just did it. I fucking did it, dude. His mother was a librarian. I thought she was a nice lady. And he died, actually. He drove a bass boat for them embankment in the middle of the night.
Damn.
We can look that up, Mario Rufino.
Unfortunately, Mario Ruffoni did die in the Chifuncta River, and I think it's safe to say Theo witnessed more than most adults have seen in their whole lives at a very young age, giving him a unique perspective on the world very early in his development. This encouraged Theo to do a fair amount of experimenting himself.
Well, yeah, I lost my virginity behind a bowling alley, dude. Which is crazy. Yeah,
Behind a bowling alley.
yeah.
That's such a
People were throwing rocks at us. There was this kid. Well, there was this one kid, definitely, something was wrong with him. I mean, nothing's wrong with him by our standards. Something's not, God didn't put him down here at 100%, you know what I'm saying? If you will.
With no strict parental guidance, Theo found himself taking strong substances before 18.
One time we ate some acid, and we locked this big girl into a room at this party. And we kept going in there with fucking pots of fucking warm water and fucking poured it on. I feel bad. I feel horrible, dude. I didn't look. We was kids and we were on acid, dude. And then, bro,
Can't tell me this story when I'm straight. You gotta tell me I'm mushrooms. You blocked the girl.
I just remembered.
How old were you?
I just remembered it. Probably 16. I know, but here's the thing. Let's say I was 14. That way it makes it sound not as bad.
It's safe to say Theo's childhood was one like no other. His unconventional upbringing, amidst tales of local legends and family quirks, provided Theo with a treasure trove of material, setting the stage for his future in comedy. Don't forget to drop a like below and let's dive straight into it. Unlike most, Theo actually started his professional acting career whilst at college, but he never intended to end up in Hollywood.
You want to move
potential.
to Hollywood then?
No, I don't think so. I wanted to be an attorney, I think.
You wanted to be an attorney.
Yeah.
He attended 6 different colleges, and over the course of 13 years, he gained experiences that would change his life forever. Theo landed his first acting role at Louisiana State University.
But then I don't really know if it's me or if it's just the people that I'm around. Like, it's just gonna be so much fun. Don't laugh at me. Huh? Am I okay?
Theo's appearance on MTV's Road Rules was his debut acting role, which paved the way for many more. One college and one semester year later, Theo capitalized on another once-in-a-lifetime experience.
No, I went on this thing called Semester at Sea. It was like a floating school
Oh wow!
that went around the whole world, actually. Around the planet.
How long was that?
It was 100 days.
And you
And I went. I was a student. I worked in the bookshop.
on the boat?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 19 years old. Oh, no, I was 20 years old.
So it was like college?
Yeah, it was college.
By Theo's sophomore year, his college experiences were already one of a kind, since he had appeared on a reality TV show and sailed across the world. He already did more extraordinary things than what most people will ever do in their lives.
We started in Vancouver, Canada, and then we finished in Florida. We went all the way around the whole world. You go around everywhere.
And you went to class, had homework,
Yeah.
and then also worked? Like your life was, did you dock?
Yeah, we would dock.
How often did you dock and you were able to?
5 days or 3 days, or 5 nights or 3 nights we would dock.
Okay.
Japan, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Kenya, Brazil. We went Cuba.
Dude.
We did it.
This opened his eyes up and truly gave him a unique perspective on the world after seeing mostly Louisiana growing up.
How was your roommate?
Oh, my roommate was great, dude. My roommate was a great guy. Ryan Thomas.
You talk to him to this day?
A few years after the ship, he passed away, man. He was doing basketball. He went to some school up in the North California mountains, like that weed school.
Theo's college adventures did not stop there. At the age of 23, he made the bold decision to move to Santa Monica College in California in an attempt to get closer to Hollywood and become a stand-up comic. And he was willing to do anything to kickstart his career. He even took up a role performing comedy in senior centers.
Oh man, it is nice to be here today at the Roslyn Center, or the Age Cage as they call it. I asked somebody where the bathroom was, and the lady goes, anywhere. Yeah. And I was like, no, really, where is it? She's like, it's down the hall or as far as you can make it. I said, I can work that out. I can make that happen.
With his comedy career still in the early stages, he was gaining popularity from his appearances in seasons of Road Rules, making Theo Vaughn a household name. This would later serve as a platform for the beginning of his fame, in which he would later appear in 7 more MTV reality TV shows from the years 2002 up until 2006.
I never want to interrupt Murray's alone time. I can't question Newhouse's methods.
What's up, rookie?
And Tabitha,
Oh, whoa, easy there, buddy.
she is beyond any man's wildest dream.
Theo learned the crucial skill of acting as a random character in stories, which would later serve him in hosting shows.
Theo, okay, look, we gonna role play, all right? You my girl, and you just gonna break up with me.
Oh, shit.
Break up with me, all right?
Just break up with you?
Yeah.
I'm just asking, can I use the N-word or not?
Theo's talents allowed him to gain popularity and opportunities throughout his acting career. Following his reality TV fame, Theo sought a fresh thrill, channeling his charisma and humor into stand-up comedy.
It's interesting growing up with a father in his 70s because of the quality time that we would spend. Shortly after I was born, my dad had one of his strokes, so we were both learning to walk at the same time. And we used to have little races for cookies.
The wit and storytelling ability Theo was forced to develop as a child was beginning to win over crowds, and ended up winning him NBC's Last Comic Standing in 2006, after being voted the fan favorite.
Congratulations! Anything to say to them? Thank you for your support, America. Thank you very much, NBC. You guys have a great night. Enjoy the show!
And 2 years later, he would win again, but this time on Comedy Central's Reality Bites Back, where he managed to beat fellow comedians Amy Schumer, Bert Kreischer, and Tiffany Haddish.
Your dive in the wheelchair as your salute to Amelia Earhart was the funniest fucking thing in the world.
Thanks, man.
I'll describe it for anyone who can't see it. Theo does this like song to the judges about Amelia Earhart. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Gets in the wheelchair. Someone rolls you off, correct? Someone rolls him off, and he falls, I think 25 feet, 20 feet, onto his stomach with, I think, wings attached to your wheelchair, and knocks the wind out of him legit. Pops up like, and we are all like,
full Amelia Earhart.
Full Amelia Earhart. And everyone's like, 10, 10, 10. It was fucking amazing.
These back-to-back wins planted Theo Vaughn's name into the stand-up comedy industry. Now in the spotlight, Theo would display his unique ability to turn his childhood traumas into hilarious comedic jokes.
My favorite game is Dad sleeping or is he solo?
Theo showed his desire for spontaneous adventure when he decided to use his newfound stardom to start doing tours around the U.S. And in 2009, Theo perfectly showcased why he is truly one of a kind.
Okay, so about 6 months ago, I get a random text message on my phone from a phone number that I don't know, okay? It comes up, I don't know what it is, all right? And it says, hey, it's Wanda, okay? So I write back, Wanda who? And she writes, the Wanda, your cousin. Now, obviously, she has the wrong number, okay? But also, she has the wrong fucking person because I have tons of free time. So I write back, what's up, shawty? And for 6 months, she and I have been texting. She thinks I'm her cousin. And I actually have a godnephew now named Damari, who's going to be 2 years old in May. So it's kind of like a big time for our family.
Theo was the first comedian to try such an imaginative approach to one of his sets.
Anyway, I'm like, this is so much fun just texting random people that I'm just going to text every number in the world because I have unlimited text and I have total free time. So since then, I'm not joking, I've texted over 10,000 numbers on this phone right here. I've gotten into relationships. I've been a man, I've been a woman. I've started blood drives, running religious groups all across the country. I'm doing an elementary school ROTC program right now in Seymour, Indiana. That's fucking blowing up, okay? Insane shit. And then I take the best ones and put them on a website. It's called Crank Text. So if you get a chance, check it out.
Theo started the Crank Text website in 2009 and has been using it in his comedic sets ever since. This has given him a unique edge over all of his comedic competitors, because he's the only comedian that can generate an infinite amount of funny stories to tell just from his phone. Finally, after enjoying the fame from comedy and reality TV, a distinct 13-year journey across various campuses, studios, and countries came to an end. When Theo graduated college, earning himself an undergraduate degree in urban planning from the University of New Orleans, this degree separated Theo from other stand-up comedians such as Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz, giving him a unique wit in his comedy. In Theo Von's world, every story is an adventure, every joke a glimpse into the wild, wonderful life of a comedian who has never forgotten where he came from. It's this authenticity, combined with his exceptional storytelling, that makes Theo Von a truly captivating figure.
Was you and a buddy, you grab each other's wiener.
Right.
Penis, they called it.
In those days.
Some of you guys call it penis. But, yeah, you grab it, and the first person to get an erection lost the game.
Right.
So it's like arm wrestling for six.
It's the stupidest fucking game. No, it's not.
No.
Simple.
I mean, it is.
Did you win? Did you ever win, or did you lose? Did you lose a lot, or did you win a lot?
Oh, I did real well one season.
What is the gay chicken season? What does that go from?
It's more of a win. It's more, I would say it's an autumn game. I would say it's kind of.
Well, that's what I think. I can see it now. All the leaves changing color, and just the two of you. What, do you play with neighbors or the teams?
No,
or?
you just got. We only had about 7 guys that played in our little bracket or whatever.
Theo's stories are vivid, full of eccentric characters and unexpected twists, making you feel like you're a part of his wild adventures. His comedic genius lies in his ability to make the absurd seem perfectly plausible, drawing laughter from the shared human experience of life's oddities.
Fighting with black kids is tough. I don't know if you ever fought a bunch of black dudes, but they win. They win, dude. Dude, I got jumped one time after a football game by 5 black dudes. I don't know if you ever fought 5 black dudes at night. Just imagine you're fighting 5 black dudes, right? Now close your eyes. Now how many black dudes are you fighting? As many as your imagination can hold.
Theo's hilarious style of comedy became so good, he could evoke laughter out of crowds without even having to say much.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened was, my cousin got bit by a gay guy. So we'll see.
From reality TV and stand-up comedy to becoming a podcasting icon, Theo Von's journey was impressive. Yet it was his 4th podcast venture that not only skyrocketed his popularity, but also transformed the podcasting world in unprecedented ways. Theo started his first podcast in April 2011, where he would bring on his Hollywood friends.
Now, did you guys have any like trouble on the set, like any fights with the other cast members or fires?
No, but we did have one episode where we look after our an episode.
No, this excited.
We look after our boss's mentally handicapped little brother.
Despite the comedy sideshow having only 23 episodes and only lasting 7 months, Theo was well ahead of the rest of the industry, and this gave him a unique advantage over most other stand-up comedians. Theo then co-launched a second podcast in 2015 called Allegedly with Theo Von and Matthew Cole Weiss.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Add into it, geek.
This gave Theo an additional 3 years of experience before most other comedians had even started thinking about doing podcasts. Then, by 2016, Theo started his 3rd podcast named This Past Weekend, which has been his most successful venture by far. It now has over 500 episodes and over 450 million views. Theo constantly displays his special ability to be comfortable doing wild, unseen things before things on his podcast.
I can't hold it. Oh, he put me down. Take that little wedgie. Oh, come on, bro. You can't wait for me over, bro. Oh, I ain't gonna do you like that, bro.
While hosting This Past Weekend in 2018, Theo also started the King and the Sting podcast with Brendan Schwab. Their conversations were a roller coaster of humor and insight, which allowed Theo's unique perspective to shine through.
Dude, can I see that Gangnam Style video?
I know what the Chin, dude. Oh, Jesus
Hey,
Christ,
Chin,
bro.
relax.
Yeah, you look.
He has a scarf with the mask.
Spice for later.
You look like you're about to rob a noodle bank.
However, it has since been rebranded to The Golden Hour since Theo departed from the show in 2022.
I'm going to be taking a step back from being on King and the Sting. And grateful to you, Brendan, man. Appreciate it.
Throughout this time, Theo kept hosting this past weekend and continued to grow the podcast into a fan favorite that averages about 2 million views per episode. Theo uses his podcast like no one else. He brought some of his family members onto the show.
My favorite part.
But everybody knows that.
If anybody is watching this that hasn't seen Stranger Things, there's spoilers. My favorite part is when
Good point.
they're like
Oh,
what the when they're
He's shown a side to him most celebrities aren't brave enough to share. He chooses to open up about his own addictions and give counseling to fans who leave him voicemails explaining their struggles.
I was wondering if you had any advice. I let the mother of my child down recently. At least I have been for the past 2 years. And I was a drunk.
Thank you, bro, for the call, man. I'm sorry that you're suffering. But also, I'm glad that you are. I can relate to making a choice that I know isn't good for myself, and I do it again and again. I can relate to that, man. And I just say it, I'm not judging you. I've done it. And that's where self-pity starts for me. I continue to stay in these loops, and I don't even recognize it. I just continue to want to have some reason to suffer. And I just don't want to see the same thing happen to you, man, that's happened to me before, you know. So, anyway, just don't feel alone, brother, and just keep your head up, baby. You know? Because you're not alone, man. I mean, there's probably 500,000 people listening to this that are thinking of it. And that want you to try.
Theo also used his platform to put the whole podcast industry onto his back, to defend many smaller podcast hosts that were scammed out of millions of dollars by Cast Media and Colin Thompson.
But you fucked with the wrong rat, homie. I have a voice. And a lot of other people are forced into these bad deals because they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to speak up, man. And that's not what our show is about. And, yeah. I just want you guys to know that this is the man. We put his picture up on the thing, on the YouTube. And the amount of money that from other people, podcasters, they've said is over $4 million.
Theo Vaughn was successful in his attempts. The Cast Media website is no longer up and running. It's safe to say Theo is using his podcast for more than just jokes and laughs, which makes him separate from the rest of the industry. In the midst of his rising popularity, Theo was offered a role in the Tomorrow War movie alongside Hollywood star Chris Pratt.
And I'm leaving to go over to Atlanta because when Chris Pratt said, "Hey, brother, I need you to come help me fight aliens," I say, "Okay, I'm gonna do that."
Now, despite Theo initially accepting this halfway through filming, Theo began to second-guess his decision due to the time he was taking out of his life. Theo then left his role there and returned to hosting his podcast full-time. This is when Theo discovered a gold mine to boost his popularity. Theo leveraged short-form content to boost his popularity to levels not seen before for most comedians.
Out here at this gas station, baby. Right out here flexing, boy. Y'all want to meet DJ Khaled right there?
This revolutionized the way Theo would broadcast his podcast, and in 2020 he started clipping up his content during the pandemic, when everyone was stuck inside. However, it wasn't until the release of YouTube Shorts in 2022 that his short-form videos took off.
I remember, like, this guy would always bring his husky with him, right? And like, you know, the drill Willis is going to circle the car or whatever. The husky is named Willis, right? So the dog would get to know your smell, right? And so I think now, one time he gets in, man, and he just starts crying.
The dog?
The guy. The man. And he said his mom had just died.
Oh my God. Did it slow down the transaction?
I needed to get that code.
Yeah.
So it was like, I remember in my head, being like, for 60 seconds, you have to talk about his mom or make sounds that are sad.
60 seconds of sad sounds.
Get to the code.
Get to it.
Theo has obtained over 1 billion views and over 100 million likes on TikTok, over hundreds of millions of views on his dedicated YouTube Shorts channel and his Instagram. Theo Von's name has been cemented into entertainment history. Theo's stories aren't just funny, they're real, full of the messiness and beauty of life. And there you have it. Let us know what you think if there will never be another Theo Von down in the comments section below. Now, while Theo Von's background was very unique, there is another comedian that came from an acting background, and he's actually a good friend with Theo. Coincidentally, we recently made a video on him. Click here to watch.